Mark Wahlberg had agreed to appear on the Drew Barrymore Show to promote his latest faith-based film, Risen Ground, a story centered on second chances, faith, and redemption values that mirrored his personal journey. It was meant to be a smooth segment, a celebration of his work, and perhaps a few laughs shared between two Hollywood veterans. The producers were thrilled. Mark rarely did daytime talk shows anymore, and his presence guaranteed views. Drew Barrymore, known for her warmth, empathy, and disarming interview style, seemed like the perfect host for the occasion. But things began to feel off even before the cameras rolled. A subtle tension lingered backstage. Mark's team had sent specific talking points, no political questions, no references to his criminal past, and an emphasis on the themes of redemption and fatherhood. Drew's producers, however, had been prepping a transformation arc segment, complete with old footage and references to Mark's troubled youth, including his 1988 assault conviction. The team felt it was relevant not as a but as a powerful contrast to his present, but no one directly cleared it with Mark. The show started with the usual cheer. Drew greeted Mark with enthusiasm, recalling memories of crossing paths in the industry. Mark responded with a polite smile and even cracked a few jokes. He spoke passionately about Risen Ground, how faith helped reshape his life, and why he felt a responsibility to be a role model, especially for young men. The audience clapped warmly. For the first several minutes, everything seemed to be going well until Drew shifted gears. So, Mark, she said, her tone still gentle, you've come such a long way, from a rough childhood and some very tough moments to being this centered, faith-driven man. It's honestly inspiring. Do you ever think about the choices you made back then and how far you've come? The shift in Mark's posture was subtle, but telling. He leaned back slightly, eyes narrowing just a fraction. I've done a lot of thinking about my past, he said, more than most people realize, and I've worked hard to make things right, but I came here to talk about the present. The film, the message. Drew, trying to keep it flowing, added, absolutely, and I think that message is your story. I mean, a lot of people watching may not know the whole arc from your early years, the Boston stuff. I think people need to see that kind of transformation is possible. Mark's smile had completely vanished now. I'm not ashamed of who I was, but I'm also not here to relive it for entertainment. That's not respectful to the people I hurt or to the person I've become. There was a hush in the studio. Even Drew looked slightly taken aback, her trademark optimism faltering. I wasn't trying to disrespect, just to highlight growth. People love a comeback story. Then focus on the comeback, not the crime, Mark snapped, his voice still calm, but sharp. He glanced off camera toward someone on his team. I was clear about what I came here to discuss. This isn't it. Drew tried once more to lighten. No need to pivot. I'm done. A few audience members gasped audibly. The camera operator instinctively kept rolling. Drew stood up slightly, extending a hand toward him, but he waved it off. Best of luck with the show, he muttered before striding off the stage and out of frame. For a moment, Drew was left blinking at the audience, stunned. The crew rushed to commercial. Viewers at home would never see that unfiltered exchange at least not on air. But in the age of cell phones and behind-the-scenes leaks, the footage wouldn't stay hidden for long. Within hours, TikTok and Twitter were flooded with clips. Hashtags like #Wahlberg Walkout and #Barrymore Backfire trending worldwide. Some viewers praised Mark for upholding his boundaries and not allowing old wounds to be turned into spectacle. Others accused him of overreacting, arguing that his story of redemption only had power because of where it began. By the end of the day, one thing was clear. This was no ordinary talk show mishap. It was a cultural flashpoint, and the ripple effects were only beginning. The morning after Mark Wahlberg's dramatic exit from the Drew Barrymore Show, social media was a battlefield. Millions of users were divided, passionately defending or criticizing each side. On one hand, people applauded Mark for setting firm boundaries and refusing to let his past be used for ratings. Others believed Drew had done nothing wrong. She was, in their view, simply highlighting a redemption story that could inspire others. But one thing was undeniable. The incident had gone viral, and the fallout had reached far beyond daytime television. Clips of the walkout were circulating across every platform. One angle, taken by an audience member who had discreetly filmed the backstage monitor, captured Mark's final glare before walking out. It was soon accompanied by dramatic Music, memes, and hot takes from influencers and media analysts. Entertainment Tonight, TMZ, and The View all ran segments dissecting the confrontation. Was Mark being overly sensitive? Was Drew ambushed by her own production team? The internet didn't wait for answers. It thrived on speculation. Drew Barrymore, deeply affected by the backlash, took to Instagram less than 24 hours later. Sitting on her couch in a loose sweater with no makeup and glassy eyes, she addressed the controversy directly. "I've always tried to create a safe, loving space on my show," she began. "If I ever made a guest feel attacked or uncomfortable, that's on me. I take full responsibility." Her voice cracked slightly. "Mark Wahlberg is someone I deeply admire. I thought we were telling a full-circle story. I never wanted to hurt him. I really didn't." The video, though sincere, did little to silence the storm. Some praised her vulnerability, others claimed it was damage control. Insiders later revealed that Drew had fought with her producers. After the show, furious that they had included segments about Mark's troubled past without his final approval, one staffer shared anonymously. "Drew was blindsided. She trusted the research team, but they pushed an angle they thought would go viral and they got it, just not the way they expected." Meanwhile, Mark Wahlberg stayed completely silent. For days, he canceled 2 other media appearances and remained out of sight, letting his publicist handle statements. Mark went on the show to discuss faith, forgiveness, and personal growth, not to be cornered into retelling a version of himself that no longer exists, the statement read. But the real response came not through press releases, but during a Sunday morning service at his Beverly Hills church, where Mark, known for his public displays of faith, gave a speech after the sermon. Standing at the pulpit, Wahlberg addressed the crowd and indirectly the world. "Sometimes you walk into a room expecting a conversation about who you are now, but you're dragged back into who you used to be. That's not growth. That's punishment," he said, his voice calm. "But passionate? I don't run from my past. I've made peace with it. But I don't owe it to the world to relive it for shock value." Clips of the speech were quickly uploaded online and sparked a new wave of commentary. Many viewers were moved by his candor and saw it as a lesson in owning one's evolution. Others felt he was being defensive, especially considering his platform and influence, but one key outcome was undeniable. Mark's new film, Risen Ground, saw a major uptick in attention. The controversy had, unintentionally, brought the story of redemption and transformation to the forefront. Behind closed doors, executives at CBS were scrambling. The unaired episode became a hot potato. Should they release it in edited form? Should they issue a joint statement from both stars? Or shelve it entirely? After heated debate, the network announced the episode would not air in its original format out of respect for both parties. This only added fuel to the speculation and drama. Weeks passed, and the buzz finally began to settle. But the incident had left a mark. Drew reportedly called Mark personally to apologize, and while details of their conversation were kept private, sources confirmed the call was respectful, honest, and necessary. Publicly, the two never reunited, no follow-up interview, no joint appearance. But both seemed to move forward on their own terms. Drew continued her show, slightly more guarded with her questions. What was meant to be a simple daytime interview had exposed something deeper, a clash not just of personalities, but of expectations, control, and the fine line between storytelling and sensationalism. For viewers around the world, it was more than just celebrity drama. It was a real-time lesson in boundaries, forgiveness, and the complexities of telling your story when the world thinks it already knows it.